The last time we did this was at the British HPCC 2020 Zoom, actually it was WebEx, remote conference online, and this represents another year of stuff. So the schedule of the release of the PPC archive has been 2 times per year, and I guess it's been that way at least going back to 2010, although the project started at the first Vancouver, Washington conference in 1998 with the release of a CD-ROM disc holding the PPC journal issues, and it expanded many times. So the sort of the rhythm of the release is around April 1st, there is a release to cover a year of additions to the British data file newsletters. And then the second time in the year is when, essentially right after the calculator conference from the US that year, which is usually September or October. So I get back and grab the stuff from the conference and add that into the material. And so this year, we're going to do that again. So the issue you have, the version you have on the USB drive, is version 2.39, which was released on April 1st of 2021. And we'll just review a couple things. There's not a whole lot to do there. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that or not, but I have a chart, and this is sort of an abbreviated version of that.
Yeah.
With version 2.37, which was the one that was reviewed the last time, and then the 2 releases after that. And right now the archive is divided into 6 sections. It keeps getting bigger. With section 1 with PPC journal issues, section 2 is True Chronicle, HPX Exchange, PPC ROM manual, and HP journal, and some other keynotes and stuff like that.
Lost the microphone.
Oh, thank you.
He's not back there monitoring, so he doesn't know
Yeah,
what's
that's
missing.
why I mentioned it.
That's right, I can't hear it. The tape isn't holding. Okay. Section 3 is the data file stuff. In 2002, we had a conference in London, and it was a spectacular conference. It was their 20th anniversary, and they had requested that I include the data file issues. So that was the first release of the first 20 years of data file. And then section 4 is conference proceedings, going back to the beginning in 1979, along with as many Australian newsletters that were able to be located. And I think there were 4 official publications from the Australians, the most famous of which was the PPC Technical Notes that started around 1980 and ran for 17 editions through, I think, 83 or 84. But the newsletters actually run all the way to 1995, and then they stopped. Okay, so you'll see version numbers were updated in all the sections. Section 5 is HPCalc material, which was presented before, and section 6 is miscellaneous HP related stuff. So the page counts increased by about almost 5,000 pages in between 237 and 239.
So 237 and 238 is roughly 6 months of time, right?
Right, it's like April, October, or April, November, right, and this is from April of 2021. So it had it had the material from the British conferences in section 4, and some other stuff that was added at the time. So the starting image when you start, this is what 237 looked like. And here's, I did it again, didn't I?
One more tape?
What? Yeah.
Perhaps more tape would be of use.
Or put it in your shirt pocket.
Yeah,
Thread it up.
Put it above your shirt pocket.
But
That should work.
maybe that'll hold. the opening screen has got 6 sections in there, and you can click on either one, each one, and it'll take you to that section. I need to be taped up like a mummy, like wrapped. Thank you. And this is the updated version, and you can't really see any physical differences except for the version numbers in here, because the changes are kind of underneath. They're more subtle. So I think 237 may have been the first edition that was released on a USB drive. First it started out as a CD-ROM disc, and then it expanded to 2, then 3, then 4, and then we merged it onto a single layer DVD, and then when it grew bigger it went to a double layer DVD, and finally it got bigger than 8 gig, and we went to a USB flash drive. And between 237 and 239 it grew to the point where I was using a 16 gig drive, and it got too big, so now we're using 32s, and it's slightly bigger than 16. It's like 19 gig, something like that. So I was just going to review quickly the updates in each section. So this is section 1, and when you open up section 1, you see what I call a jump table with a list of all the PPC journals year by year and month by month. And with version 239, after some discussion offline, we decided that in order to make it easier to understand what had changed, any new items would be highlighted in green. So on any of these charts, if you see items in green, that means it's new since the previous version. It does make more work for me, because when I start a version later, I gotta change that chart, take all the green away, and then start again. So, and creating the table is complicated. It's done in Excel, but then convert it to PDF, and then I have to manually recreate all these links, which you click on each one of those cells and it'll take you to that document. So, section 1 version history, as of April 2021, we added a back issue table related to version 13, volume 13, number 1, a new member letter from 1977, another one from 1981, and a letter from Dave White asking people to rejoin PPC if their membership had expired. So it's kind of subtle. And here are some examples of those items.
Where do the special issues fall in that?
The special issues, as of this version, we had special issue A, D, and E, and okay. This is 237, 239. In version 238, special issue B was added in, so it's here. So we have A, B, D, and E, and we're still searching for special issue C, and it'll go in as soon as we can get our hands on it.
That means everyone should go home and see if they have it. And
Yes.
if they do, let Jake know.
Special
Yes,
issue
exactly.
C.
Special issues.
Charlie.
Right.
Charlie.
All the other ones we have. The British claimed that they had a copy in their library, but it doesn't seem like anybody's gotten around to searching the library to find the issue.
I
We've
think
asked
they
numerous times.
I begin to think that the British are lazy.
Well, the library, I don't know if the library is stored like other things, which is like in
The
Vladek's
library,
attic
and
or
there's one
something.
guy, but the stuff is stored in another guy's house.
So you're looking for PPC journal special issue C?
Yeah.
Special issue C only. We have all
Charlie,
the other ones.
Yeah, mine, I remember mine being special issue A.
Yeah.
That was the initial one. Okay, so section 2, this is the jump table for the top part of section 2, and the things that were added were a bunch of peripheral Chew Chronicle things, a press release announcing the club, a welcome letter, a document listing all the chapters, and an update, and finally a letter from Mike Markov where he had volunteered to try to contact as many PPCers as he knew to try to get them to join Chew at the time. So all this stuff was from the 1984 timeframe, right when Chew was forming. And that's all the new, another thing, if you're familiar with the term the card in the box, where HP volunteered to print cards that
No,
advertise
no, no, wait,
clubs.
I have to correct you. HP didn't volunteer. I had to really
You had to twist
put a
arm.
lot of pressure to sell them to do that.
Okay, so there is a card in the box included in there, that's the front page of that, and that's in here. That was added in
There are 4
238.
versions of that.
And I think I only have 2
Oh, really?
in here.
I'll make a note.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to figure out which ones they are.
Yes. There is a document that I wrote up, and I have pictures of them all, and I describe each one of them. I think it was in the last proceeding,
I may have,
before.
I may have seen it.
Yeah.
So section 3 is the British data file, and there were 2 issues added in the time frame. We added the volume 6, number 4, and volume 36, number 4, and volume 37, number 1 issues. And their publication rate has been decreasing as the amount of material has become less and less available, and I believe they have not done an issue since volume 37, number 1.
Oh, really?
I'm hoping that by next April, they've got at least 1 new issue. I know that Jackie Waldring sent them a really long article for the publication, and it missed that issue for some reason, and I wrote to Bruce Horrocks saying, do you still have Jackie Waldring's material for the issue? He says, yeah, it just didn't make it, it'll make it in the next one. And that was like 6 months ago, so I don't know. I don't know whether they're still waiting to get enough. But
And Vladik usually is very prolific. I wonder why has he been busy?
well, he
or-
writes for every issue, so maybe they're just looking for other things.
Yeah.
So this is the jump table for section 3, and again, the new stuff is in green, green text in this case, which is volume 36, number 4, volume 37, number 1. Otherwise, everything else has been there ever since, starting with their inception in '82 and going right up to the current day. So section 4, again, all the conference proceedings listed here, and then all the Australian publications at the top. And we added 5 additional Australian documents. The Assembler 3 annotated listing, the Assembler 3 operating instructions. There's a few others. Also a PPC, or PPPM newsletter from Melbourne and Sydney together, which was a special issue covering the 42S calculator, was added. It was from 1999 timeframe, and we also added materials from the 2 British virtual conferences in late 2020 and early 2021. Oh, I overshot.
Yes.
Okay, so examples. This is just a bunch of material from those 2 British conferences. There were a lot of presentations in the first one. It was an all-day affair, and there were like 12 presenters, I think. And then the 2021 one, they called it a mini conference, and basically we had 2 presentations, one from Eric Smith and one from Cyril, and Cyril had some interesting photographs of homebrew telescopes that he'd been making at his home. Okay, so getting into section 5, which is HPCalc. There's been a lot of stuff there. We added a palm top paper article which was related specifically to HPCalc closing its doors. I thought it was worthwhile having it there for the sake of completeness. And also, I don't think I mentioned it outright, but I thought it made sense on the HPCalc jump page to add a link over to the HHC 2017 conference with the presentation that went through lots of statistics related to HPCalc catalogs and whatnot. So if you're interested in things about the catalogs, how many there were, biggest catalog, products that lasted the longest, you can click there and it will take you right to that PowerPoint presentation. And there's the front page of the palm top paper article. HPCalc closes its doors. Did I skip?
We're just-
So section 6 was sort of a miscellaneous catch-all that had started a bunch of sections ago. And originally, it was a single page of documents. The left-hand side was 2 columns of single documents, and you click on that thing and it takes you to the document. And the right-hand side was a set of, although be it an incomplete set of periodicals related to HP stuff, such as the SMI's 48 Forum, the surveying periodical, HP Keybits, HP Basic Exchange, there's a few others in there. So several individual and multi-issue documents catalogs were added. So this became 3 pages of stuff. It grew quite a bit. So I divided the individual documents and the multi-page or multi-issue into separate tables. This is the individual document one, and you can see sprinkled with green, those are all the new things, and they're in chronological order. Then the multi-page stuff went over here, and we added a section for press kits for different calculators, and also a bunch of documents which Bob obtained through a seller on eBay, just European brochures related to HP. And then finally, I forget how it happened, there was a discussion related to Electech, and I'm sure that some of you here remember the Electech people that sold it out of the Chicago area.
Are you still
So-
in business?
No, they folded right around the time HHC did, 1997, 98.
Oh.
So I tried to scrape together all the Electech catalogs I had, and then we're missing some, so I had to find more. So I think previously there was, I guess it was in 237 or 238, we added a bunch, and then in 239, 4 more catalogs were located. So it starts with number 5, and it goes up to number, I think that's 32. And there's a couple missing ones in there. And the hard part with these was that nowhere in any catalog that they've ever released, with the exception maybe of one, does it ever say a date as to when that catalog applies. Unlike HHC, which literally told you what it was. So in order to figure out where that catalog was from, all you knew was the volume number. I sort of had to do some amateur detective work, and I put together a spreadsheet which listed basically month by month the intro and discontinuation dates of every HP calculator from the 35 to the present, using lots of different sources. And it was a month by month thing with time across the top on the x-axis and calculators down the y-axis. And then any month that calculator was active, the name appeared in the row. And then, so you could pick a time frame and you could see which calculators should have been active in that time. So using that chart, I go through a catalog and look at every HP calculator that was available at that time, and then try to match it to a time frame on the chart. And we were able to pretty much do that for each one. So some years have 2 issues, some years so far have only 1 issue. This one happened to have 5. It seemed kind of haphazard how they released them. So that's where it stood as of volume 239. So that's the end of section 6, and this is basically what I would put on the web page to advertise the whole thing, and it grew to, we finally grew to over 50,000 pages, and an April 1st release date. And then, just as a sneak peek for the next one, which will come out in about a month, one item which I thought was of interest. From the HHC news lines, in 239, you'll see a chart that looks like this, which lists newsline messages transcribed from dates starting in 1992 and going through 1996, and there's a lot of missing ones in there. But you'll see, for particular dates, this little symbol there shows like a speaker. And if you click on the date, it'll take you to the transcription. But if you click on the speaker, it'll actually play you the audio file from the phone message. And I didn't have them from everything, but I had them from a lot. So since Richard was cleaning out his house and whatnot, he located a bunch of additional Newsline texts. And so this has now grown to essentially 2 pages of Newsline items. All the green ones are the new ones. I think we tripled in size from like 50-some to 150-some. And there's many, many more from like 1993 to 1995. So that was quite interesting. So that's part of the update that's ongoing now. But I should say, I sort of work on this almost every day. So when I get back, I'll try to grab the conference materials and add that in as well.
And then I'll send you a new box.
Absolutely. I still have a lot of your other stuff, but I'd rather, if I get that, and then I can decide, oh, here's something that's even more important, I'll look at that
and
now.
organize it.
Yeah,
make it easier.
it's gonna be really helpful.
Now, you just scanned what I have, I guess I typed them, I think. Did I type?
These were all handwritten,
Okay, got it.
and I scanned the handwritten pages and adjusted the contrast so that they were all readable.
Okay.
And, you know, it's got numbers and dates and all that stuff
This
on
is,
there.
this is in the days before we had, everybody used a computer and printer, you know.
Right, now each one of these squares here, over here you can see, it may be too small to see, but you can see that the top row says product news and the bottom row says activities news.
Yeah.
And if I only had the product news one, it's up here. If I had only the activities news one, you'd see it there. But if I had both, I put the date in the middle. In each of these new cases, we have both the product and the activities news. So basically, I made it into a 2-page document. So if you click on one of those cells, it'll take you to both the product news page and the activity news page for that particular week of release. And there's still at least another year of issues that we don't have. There's like another year missing, and that's, I think, one of the last correspondences we had said, if you can find any other material from the news lines, you know, we're raring to put it in. So that's about it.
Can you imagine 20 years from now, people look back, what bizarre things they did, you know?
Yeah, well, no internet, no, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. So that's about it. If anybody has any questions or comments, I guess, otherwise we'll move on.
Thanks for all the scanning. I don't know what I'd do without the PDFs of the stuff that you've scanned, so thank you for all that work.
It's fun to do research. Somebody will bring up a question on the HP Museum forum about something in an HHC catalog, and if you go on the archive to the HHC catalog section, you'll see that there's a 5-way index of all the issues with 5,000 items from the 70-some issues. So you know, I'm able to look in there and respond, oh, that product was in catalog 62 to 68, and it's real convenient to have that stuff available.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
You don't realize it until you need it. And
Yeah,
then-
right.
Then you say, oh my.
oh, yeah, it's a good thing.
I see.
So, the tape is
Yeah.
kind of iffy.
I'll mail you a binder clip.